I'm bummed to say what I'm about to say.
Then don't say it.
No, I have to.
You won't.
No, but it's not popular, and I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, this is your unpopular take?
I really hope I'm wrong. Like, I really, really hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
I am just not that bullish on the future of Jonathan Kuminga.
Please explain.
I don't think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be great. I think anybody who thinks that that's like this untouchable future piece, a one, somebody who you can build around, I don't see it. I don't see it in today's NBA. There's not a damn wing out there, not a one, who's a star who needs 4 seconds to line up his three-point shot. That's not, and by the way, I'm not trying to take a shot at the guy. He is who he is.
Well, if you took a shot at him, you'd need 4 seconds to take a shot at him. I had to get that in there.
I'd miss if I took a shot at him.
Yes.
No, listen, I want to make this very clear. He's already really good. He's already really good. This is more about that predictive projection that people have about, oh, don't give him up, because what if he turns into and then you fill in that blank? I don't think he's going to turn into fill in that blank. He's not. I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's a really, really good player. I think his athleticism is obviously off the charts. But if you look at players like that, who in their early 20s rely on athleticism over shot, it fizzles, because that athleticism is not going to go into your 30s. That's not where it's going to go. You know what I mean? Remember Lob City with the Clippers?
Yeah.
They're filled with Kumingas. And a bunch of them.
Darius Miles.
Yeah. And right? And Blake Griffin to a degree.
Oh, for sure, Blake Griffin. He was explosive.
And he was a phenomenal player. And Jonathan Kuminga already is, very, very good. But anybody who thinks he's the centerpiece to an NBA roster, like Steph's going to retire and then we got Kuminga. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on that. I'm big time out on that. And God, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Really want to be wrong.
Well, can he be a 2 on a team that goes to the conference finals? Like over the course of the next 1 to 2 years?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He's got to shoot the ball.
Right. Shoot the ball.
Schießt im Finster.
Totally.
Diehard fans will get that one.
Yes.
Shoot the ball. You have to be able to be consistent with an outside shot and your build-up, your release. Like what made Steph and Clay so damn special, they never stopped running, and when they got the ball, they could shoot it in a half a second. And Kuminga just doesn't have that. He's 22. Is he going to have time to develop something? He could, and then I will be wrong. And that would be amazing. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, like I was there covering Darius Miles. Oh, 20-something young buck who can fly and could dunk with his chin. Yeah. You're going to have to develop something else.
Yeah, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
Like back then, you could kind of get away with being a vertical spacer more than you can now, but you've got to be able to step out and not only shoot the 3, but shoot the mid-range and be able to create your own shot that doesn't involve you driving to the hoop. And the thing that makes me a little bit cautious about, latching myself to the Kuminga bandwagon is the fact that his three-point percentage went down this year pretty dramatically from 37 last year to 32 this year, shooting basically the same number of three-point shots. So he's not trending in the right direction as a shooter, and maybe he makes that leap this year. And, if he gets his big contract, maybe it gives him a little bit more confidence and he can become more of a shooter. But I don't think that that's necessarily a dangerously wrong take. And I'm more of that mindset than I am of the mindset that, hey, in 3 to 5 years, he's going to be the one on this team, and this team's going to be a 42-win team with him as your best player.
Well, and again, it's not a dangerous take. I don't think I'm like, my toes are not like out over the ledge on this take. I realize that. I just think it's unpopular because we all want Jonathan to be great, and he's very, very good. I just don't think he's ever going to be what we would call a star in the NBA. And again, I really, really hope that I'm wrong. But I think that jump shot, which did improve, is still nowhere near good enough. If you want to be a wing in today's NBA, I don't think you can be all that effective of one if you don't shoot the ball out there.
Yeah.
Like really effectively. That's got to be a big-time weapon or at least a threat.
A threat.
It has to be a threat unless you can physically overwhelm people. Like I know that, there might be people right now. In fact, we do have a texter, 415, said, Giannis. What about Giannis? Well, Giannis is like physically overwhelming in a way that Jonathan is not.
He's 7 feet.
Correct. And so much bulkier and so many things that, like his build is completely different than what Jonathan Kuminga's is. There's things that he can do with his back to the basket that Jonathan can't. And again, he's 22. I'm not saying that development cannot happen. It already has. Like the jump he took from last year to this year was significant. But what I'm getting to is the Warriors have such a fantastically interesting offseason. I would not take Jonathan Kuminga off the table.
Right. It's interesting you say that.
I would not do that. I'm not saying I want to trade him.
Right.
But I wouldn't take him off the table.
Right.
At all.
And I don't think that the Warriors will take him off the table, especially if it leads to landing a big boy, which is where my take comes in, because I don't think if the Warriors don't add a big boy, and by a big boy I mean a player who either has been an all-star multiple times, Kevin Durant, or a guy who is an all-star in the making, Brandon Ingram, or even somebody like Lauri Markkanen, if the Warriors don't land a, quote, big boy, they're not going to win another playoff series. They won't win one this year. They won't win one next year. If you just roll back Steph and Dre, Clay or no Clay, doesn't even matter for this conversation, Wiggins, Kuminga, Moody, Pods, and TJD, that collection, that core is not good enough to win even one playoff series.
Oof.
Not a series. I mean, you'll be, for me, if you bring this group back, let's say you sign Clay at whatever number and you replace Saric and you bring in Lester Quinones and Guy Santos and the rest of the young guys, you're probably an 8 or a 9 seed and you're not good enough to win a series.
So you're loving what Colin Cowherd said.
What did he say?
He said this from the Herd just yesterday.
I think the Warriors are going to be a big player somewhere. I think we're concentrating on Philly and New York, and I understand that. It's just a much easier avenue to get to the conference finals and the finals. Like, there's no disputing that. But I think Golden State, full of smart people, Jason, looks at OKC, looks at Denver, looks at Dallas. It's like, come on, we're not even close. So I think teams like Golden State are like right now, we're all talking Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, what to do. I think they're going to take a huge swing. That's my get. Maybe it's Karl Anthony Towns.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I liked what he was saying until the end, and he's not wrong. It may be like, let me tell you this right now.
Yeah.
What's happening in this series that we're watching right now is absolutely putting Karl Anthony Towns back on the potential offseason table for teams in the NBA. We had heard that he might be on it, depending on how things went in the playoffs and when they beat Denver. Privately, you and I were like, well, Karl Anthony Towns not going anywhere.
Right.
Minnesota might win the championship. But to then get run away from, and maybe they'll rally, who knows, but to get run away from by Dallas and have it look like that, where Karl was both poor and settling for outside jumpers that he doesn't seem to ever be hitting, yeah, that could absolutely put him back on the market because that's a really expensive roster, and they're going to have to try to figure out how to get better if they fall short.
$185 million on the books for next year for Minnesota, which puts them just a little bit shy of that dreaded second apron you don't want to be in.
Yep.
And then the year after that, they're at 197, assuming that Gobert opts in to his $46 million. You figure he would. The thing about Karl Anthony Towns is he is still owed 102. 159 plus a player opt at $61 million. So you still owe him $220 million if he so desires. So that takes you out of a lot of different things in the future. It would be Steph and Draymond and Karl Anthony Towns as your big three. And I'm not thrilled by that. I'm not sold on Karl Anthony Towns.
I hear you. Where my mind goes right now, it's less even about the specific names because there's a bunch of different ways that they could put this Lego piece together. But when you say, like, oh, gosh, are you going to make a financial commitment like that? Here's what I truly believe. I really believe the Warriors right now, when they're thinking about 3 or 4 years down the road, they don't care.
Right.
And yes, they do.
Well, and to that point, though, would they rather have Karl Anthony Towns for 4 years or Jonathan Kuminga for 4 years?
I think that they would answer that question by saying which one will do a better job over the next 2 years. That's the one we'll take.
Sure. Like but even beyond that, I think for years 3 and 4, it would be Karl Anthony Towns, who is 28 right now.
Yeah, maybe. But I honestly think they are willing to put like being embarrassingly bad on the table 4 years from now if it means maximizing the next 2.
Yeah.
I think they're willing to make that trade. They don't want it to go that way. I'm sure they don't think it'll go that way, but they're willing to take that chance, is my guess, based on not just what I know, what we hear, but, what we see, all of it.